morning, good afternoon, good night, whatever you'd like to call it. This is the second episode / video of LN1. LN1 is essentially everything God, universe, science, every single religion, atheism, religious people, all into one. That is the purpose behind all of these videos, and I am here to prove it. I guess we'll start with the bad news. The bad news is this coffee cup is supposed to be filled with coffee. However, it is not, because I decided to accidentally break my coffee pot about 10 minutes ago. So my mood level has changed a bit. The good news, you're about to learn something. And today's topic is the law of attraction. The real law of attraction and how to use it. Actually, I take that back. We're going to get more in depth on how to use it later, but right now I'm going to give you, I would say it's the basics, but it's actually, it goes pretty in depth with the scientific aspect. Later on we'll do new episodes with experts on deeper subjects, but for right now, the kind of the basics, still pretty in depth though. It'll be things that you probably have never heard. I'm 99% sure about that. So let's start it off. What is the law of attraction? The law of attraction is consciously or subconsciously, unconsciously attracting things that you want or even don't want in life. And a lot of people, kind of brush this off because it's fairy tale BS or whatever you want to call it. However, I would like to first start by saying the law of attraction and prayer are basically the same thing. They're just different definitions, which is the primary thing I'm trying to prove in each video. Is we're all collectively divided. Well, this doesn't even make any sense. We're all divided by definitions. All right. So prayer, law of attraction, same thing. Using your brain to connect to a bigger, higher, better source than yourself to obtain the things you want, and sometimes the things that you don't want by accident. Using negative phrases, thinking negatively all the time, being a Debbie Downer. So, now I guess let's start, like I said in the previous video of what is God, let's start macro, work down to micro. I think it's a lot easier explained that way and a lot easier to perceive exactly what we're talking about, what the topic is at the moment. So here is the earth. Here's a human being. I know it probably doesn't look like that on your screen, but that's what I'm shooting for here. My artistic skills are subpar, so I apologize for that. Right here is the electromagnetic grid. It's an imaginary grid in the universe. My scientific friends are going to murder me on this, but this is pretty much what it kind of looks like. And we have the revolving, turning Earth right here in the middle, as well as the other planets, but that's going to be for a different day. Today, just the Earth. So, and I definitely have some thorough notes for this episode because science has never been my thing per se. I just kind of, one of those things just passed to get through in school and college, and not until my 30s was I really interested. So when it comes to definitions, I like to definitely resort to my notes. So we have the imaginary grid here in the universe. So just picture, try to put this in motion, the Earth moving and sitting down, weighing down on this electromagnetic grid. So if you want to transfer that idea into a human, just think about your body being in this electromagnetic wave all the time. Okay. The curvature of how it sits and how the other planets operate on it is going to be manipulated by electric charge. So the electric charge primarily will come from the sun. Now the sun sends these things called solar flares, which is, and one thing I did not draw, which is going to be protected by this imaginary thing called an atmosphere. So this force is going to be protect from the solar flares. Otherwise, And kind of shooting from the hip on this one. I'm pretty sure it'll like burn our skin off or something. So we're protected by this atmosphere, and there's 2 points: the magnetic and the northern and southern magnetic pole is where those solar flares are going to enter as charged particles. So the solar flares are actually magnetic energy. So keep electric and magnetic in the back of your head while I'm explaining this, because it'll all wrap up and make sense in the end. Now, negative ion. What is a negative ion? A negative ion is an electric charged atom or molecule, which has more electrons than protons, and that's where it gets into like the crazy stuff that my friends are gonna murder me on, and I'm probably gonna misquote or whatever. But just think little electric particles in the sky. Now these can be found. Think water, bodies of water. So after a storm, they're gonna fill the sky in caves because of the I don't know, humidity. I'm not sure. Caves, beach, lake, water. If you have a humidifier in your room, I do. That's where these negative ions are going to be. So negative ions has been proven to increase serotonin levels, overall bring your depression, anxiety down. So there are therapeutic things that negative ions do. So stick that in the back of your head: the electricity and magnetic force. Now, after negative ions. So, matter of fact, I skipped past the solar flare. So, back to solar flare. Solar flare comes down, blocked by the atmosphere, comes in through northern, southern magnetic poles. It shoots right down the center of the Earth. Let me tell you what's right down the center of the Earth. And I'm not trying to pull a conspiracy theory or anything, but the Bermuda Triangle. So, I'm not going to get into it, but a lot of people are wondering, Amelia Earhart, sunken ships, airplanes, this, that. Well, coincidentally enough, and I'm not a person of coincidence, it's right down the center of the magnetic poles. So, the Northern Lights, which some of you may be familiar with, and this is where I get kind of screwy and don't remember, but the Northern Lights, the green stuff in the air. I'm sure you've seen pictures or wallpapers on your computer about it. But this is going to be the entrance of the charged particles from the sun, the solar flares. So these green lights in the air, I don't know about specifics of how they turn green, whether they're green, whatever, but you can physically see them in the sky. And this is the entrance into the Earth. So it's pretty much the doorway of energy, okay? Now, human body. Let's switch over. I know. So, in a whole, that's it. We got electromagnetic grid. We got the Earth turning on it. We got the block of the solar flares. They're coming in at certain points. You can literally see them in the sky. And then you have this torus that goes through the Earth. So it's pretty much, pretend you're seeing this in motion. We got the energy coming in and out like this. All right? So it's constantly moving, constantly moving, constantly moving. Something else that does this, aside from everything, I guess probably the best answer, is the human body. Let me make sure it's on the video. So we got the human body that does exactly the same thing. The brain and the heart create electric pulses, okay? The heart, more than the brain, surprisingly. At least more than my brain. Inside our brains, we actually have, let me put this up. So inside the brain, we have tiny little magnetite crystals, okay? I'm quite sure we do not have that in our heart, even though the heart puts off bigger electric pulse than the magnetite crystals in your brain. But think antenna, okay? They're used as an antenna, pretty much. And this is not a tinfoil hat type of conspiracy. They're literally in your brain. Go to your little Google box, search it. So that's the human body. So the human body is essentially doing exactly what the earth is doing. Let's see. Moving on. So we also create this torus. Same, it's moving just like this. Circle, 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 circle. Please tell. Okay. Circle. Earth, doing the same thing. We're inside the earth. We're right here. So we're essentially doing the same thing the earth is doing. And this is a small scale, bigger scale. Now think in the universe. Also the same thing. Now that cannot be proven, of course, because we can only see, we only have our observable universe at this point. But, so back to the beginning. Sun to earth to you. It's all one big mechanism. Okay? So what does this all mean, Chris? Why are you telling me this? Back to law of attraction. So when we're talking about law of attraction, the thing that people like to brush off as fairy tale is indeed not. Because we have these antennas, we have this electric pulse, we're connected to this, to the sun, we're all connected, we're all one. So whether you want to call it law of attraction, whether you want to call it prayer, it's all the same. Typically, law of attraction and prayer, people are different kind of people. But they're they're always the same thing. So you ask the universe, I want this in my life. You start imagining, I want this, I'm going to start living this way. It even requires you start acting a certain way. There's a NLP term for it, and I cannot think of it at this moment, but you start acting how you want to be, and the universe is going to recognize that's what you are, this is what I'm going to feed you. Now, unfortunately, the same thing works for bad. You think bad, you're very cynical. I know I'm one of those people, but you're very cynical. You just assume the worst, everything's bad going to happen. That's exactly what's going to happen, because the universe, going all the way back to the sun and more and beyond, is going to say, well, this is what he wants, this is what he gets. It's really that simple. To put it in the most simplistic terms, you think bad, you get bad. You think good, you get good. But this is going to be the scientific explanation as to why. We are literally plugged in to the universe every day. Whether you want to believe that or not, it's absolutely true. And whether you want to practice it or not, it's already true. So my advice, which I should be giving to myself as well, is always, no matter what, no matter the circumstance, think good, think good, think good. Now, I have a new picture I want to introduce. I'll probably have to erase some here. Let's see. So just once more, maybe to put it in different terms, when we're speaking of God, which is the purpose of this channel, LM1, God, I will say God, you may say the universe, you may say beyond the universe, because it's all more than what we can comprehend. Even this whole picture, starting from the person all the way to the sun, it seems large, but it's not. It's just a tiny speck of what's actually going on beyond our comprehension. Not only beyond our comprehension, but what we can actually see and hear. Because once you're beyond a certain hertz, I think listening is anything over 20, between 20 and 20 and 22,000 hertz, you can't hear anymore. But that doesn't mean things are not happening that you cannot hear. A good example would be a dog whistle, though that's still in our hearing range. Now, eyesight, same thing. There's millions of little things, billions probably, happening right here in front of our face. But because they're on a different, I'm not sure if wavelength would be the right word, but because our eyes cannot physically see them, we can't comprehend. We literally cannot comprehend. Everything is happening in our face. Everything is happening in our ears. But it's all happening. Whether you want to believe that or not, all this crap's going on. Okay? So you're already plugged in. All you have to do is use these antennas in this pulse right here and suck in what you want. It's really that simple. So moving on to the, okay, before I leave, so back to my previous video when I explained God is one. So we are, now put this picture in your head and think, we are the expression of God. We are the cells. We are in God. God's not in us. We are in God. So God says sound, we make sound. God says light, we are light. You know, and I'm going to mess this quote up, but Genesis in the Bible, God said, God was the Word, and, oh man, I got it so bad. But God said light, there's light. God said sound, there's sound. You know, I'm sure everybody else, aside from me, knows this Bible verse is better. And this is all very true in scientific terms. So I know if you don't want to believe in the Bible, and trust me, I have my disagreements with pieces of the Bible or maybe translations of the Bible. But it's, once again, what I'm trying to prove with this video is that it's all the same. Light, sound, light and sound that you can't see, that you can't hear. All the things that are existing around you. How you're plugged into the universe. Now, in a couple more videos, I'm not sure when I'll do this, but I'll make very specific videos of things you can do to actually plug into the universe better. So 2 plugs instead of 1. And it goes back to electricity, magnetism, sound, light, all these things you can magnify, I guess. Intensify, better word. So before I move on, and this is pretty much wrapped up at this point, but one last interesting thing. I'm not really going to pull any conspiracy theories out, and I definitely don't want to discredit any religion or belief that anyone has, because I believe everything's true. I believe everybody, to each their own, everybody's, if you're into Buddhism, that's true. That's it. That's good. God is for you. Christianity, same. Judaism, same. But this will be a familiar picture for Christians, for sure. And once again, please excuse me. I'm not really the artist. So, I really shouldn't even show this, to be quite honest. If you look back through photos that are references to the Bible, Christianity, and most importantly, Jesus, we see this in almost every photo. We have Jesus, and the sun is always in the background. And if it's not the sun, then it's the circular part of the cross or the ankh or whatever it is at the time in the picture. But Jesus' head is always in the middle. And I will say, when I see these things, now that I've done years of research into this very stuff that I explained, when I see this, I don't see just a photo or just art. I see these crystals. I see this law of attraction. I see how he himself is praying to God, communicating to God, communicating to the universe. And not only doing that, but teaching others how to. So that's why it's very significant to me. I think that what I'm really trying to prove with these videos is that we're not different. We're the same. Even if you're an atheist, and it's the Big Bang is for you, I think it's kind of a dumb theory, but that's just me. Hey, if you believe it, awesome, great for you. But I think atheism, Christians, Buddhism, everything, I think is just, at the end of the day, it's the same. We all can communicate to God, the universe, whatever you want to call it. Bring in the good, push out the bad. Now, I don't want to sit here and say anything hypocritical, as in we can't be all good. Our whole life can't be all good. I know you know the term, everything should be in moderation. I believe that is 100% accurate when we're talking about spirituality or religion. Everything has a balance. So there is no left without right, no right without left, black without white, white without black. There has to be a balance. So with that being said, there has to be those angry times in your life, those selfish times, those greedy times. Those happen. You're human. They'll always happen. You can't turn them off. So the hypocrisy of a lot of people really blows my mind sometimes. But, at the end of the day, we're humans. We do bad. We have to do bad. We have to. It's part of God's plan. It's part of the universe's plan. Because if we didn't do bad, if there were not bad things, then good wouldn't matter. Just like if when I turn the lights out, they don't go out, then light wouldn't matter when I turn it on. Like when the sun drops and the sun comes up, if it never dropped, then when the sunrise would be nothing. Everything has to equal out. Even when you look at, this is definitely a subject for a different day, but when you look at the tree of life, there's actually 10 Sephirot. I probably pronounced that wrong. On the Jewish tree of life, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, something like that. And it goes down like this. The belief is like how to live appropriately, and some people say how to meditate appropriately. Now this is really screwed up right here. This is a horrible picture, but go ahead and research or Google the tree of life for Judaism. But what it comes down to is whether you believe it's for meditation, whether you believe it's for, whatever. All these, each Sephirot that is across from the other is opposites. And now the same thing, I'm definitely not going to try this, but the Baphomet, for a lot of people say Satanism. I have different beliefs on that completely, but it's a balance. It's equal of everything. It's male and female. It's got the one hand up, one hand down. Everything is literally balanced. And I think that I think there's no key in life, but if we were to talk about what is the key of life, what is the key of a happy life, a perfect life, it would always be balance. So, let's make sure there's nothing else here. That's pretty much it. So, to sum up the video, what is the real law of attraction? I just showed you. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. And most importantly, when you use the law of attraction or when you pray, it matters every time. That's it for me, Chris Fields. This is LN1. And I guess if you haven't, it's one of those cliche things you have to say. Please subscribe. Thank you.